Today, we are going to talk about something very important to increase the salmon growth rate after transition to the seawater. Today, we are going to talk about the fat, carbohydrate, and the bile acids in the salmon diet. Actually, if we increase the fat in the diet and decrease the carbohydrate and adding some bile acid, we will increase the salmon growth. And here today, we are going to explain why we need high fat and why we need to decrease carbohydrate and why we need to add bile acids. The salmon, after transition from fresh to seawater, the salmon ability to metabolize the fat in the diet is getting higher and higher. In this case, we need to add more fat to the diet. That is why we need high fat in the salmon feed. Another point that if we increase the fat in the salmon feed, we are using the fish oil. And fish oil, it's a little expensive component in the feed compared to the other plant oil. So the farmers, they increase the fat sourced from plant oils. And these plant oils, they are not favored to the metabolic system in the salmon. In this case, if we increase the fat from the plant oil, we increase the fat accumulation in the liver. So here, we will increase the fat accumulation. In this case, if we use high carbohydrate, as they are used to use this carbohydrate to make the pellets more compatible and they are more stable in the water, but these carbohydrates have a negative effect on the metabolic system. In the case of the fat accumulation, this carbohydrate high level prevent the body to break down this accumulated fat. In this case, we need to increase the fat oxidation by increasing the bile acid inclusion in the salmon diet. Here, we are going to explain how this happens. Bile acid, we can shortcut to the PA. Bile acid will increase the emulsification effect on the fat. So bile acid will make the big fat droplet in the feed getting smaller. And then the bile acid will increase the lipase activity on this small fat droplet. So the lipase come here and make this small fat break down to the fatty acids and fatty acid cholesterol. And then the bile acid come again to accompany this fatty acid to the intestinal wall to help them to get in the body. After the bile acid finish this function, the bile acid back again to the intestine and through the intestinal wall again get in the body to do other function. In this case, the bile acid come in the body here to increase the fat oxidation in the liver and in the muscle. So what we can say here that the bile acid help in emulsification and lipase activation and followed by fatty acid absorption. And then back again and get in the body to increase the bile acid in the liver and in muscle to increase the fat oxidation. But the bile acid function here is to deliver the fatty acid from the feed to the intestinal wall and then increase the fatty acid oxidation. How the bile acid increase the fatty acid oxidation, we are going to explain that more clearly. Bile acid affect some master genes. These master genes called PPAR genes. This PPAR have two types. The first one is alpha and the second one is gamma. This one is responsible to increase the fatty acid oxidation. They control many genes. They are responsible for fatty acid oxidation. But this type of PPAR increase the fat movement. We have said that if we feed more plant oil, there are incidents of fat accumulation in the liver. So this kind of gene, master gene, they will increase the move of fatty acid to be available for oxidation. So bile acid help this gene to increase fatty acid oxidation and the movement of fatty acid from stores to come back to be available for the action of the PPAR alpha. In this case, the bile acid, what have done? The bile acid increase the fatty acid delivery and fatty acid metabolism. But still, fatty acid metabolism itself have another secret molecule. These genes improve the function of many other genes to increase the fatty acid oxidation. One of them is work on L-carnitine. This molecule is very important because this molecule carry the fatty acid from the cytoplasm to the mitochondria. So what is the mitochondria? Mitochondria is the factory of energy. So without this molecule, the fatty acid cannot be burned, cannot be used in the energy production. So we use the bile acid to deliver and increase the fatty acid oxidation, and subsequently, this one will affect the L-carnitine, as the L-carnitine is as a transporter of the fatty acid to the mitochondria to increase the energy production. In this case, if we increase the fat because the body is ready to consume more fat for energy production, so the body metabolic system will be relaxed, will be have the favorable source of energy, which we call it fat. And then we decrease the carbohydrate to prevent the fat accumulation in the liver. And then we bile acid to increase the fat delivery and increase the fatty acid oxidation. And by the end, we add L-carnitine. That L-carnitine help us to achieve higher results after bile acid action. And here there is a last note or a last notice on the carbohydrate. Carbohydrate have many kinds of carbohydrate. They are easy carbohydrate, they are difficult carbohydrate. Easy carbohydrate here we mean that easy to be digested. For example, the starch, it could be in short time be break down with amylase to be glucose. In this case, we call it easy carbohydrate, or we can say like simple carbohydrate. But you can add more carbohydrate in your diet in form of fibers. And in another video, we'll explain how much important to control the fiber level in the salmon diet. That is for today, and I'm too thankful for you to introduce this information for you.